Chapter 4. How to make a thesis proposal. Lead in. Your main purpose when writing a proposal is to propose a solution to a problem. There are various types of proposal writing in the workplace and in academic circles. The following table may help students know the status of varied proposals. For example, employees need to submit a proposal to their supervisors to request permission to begin projects or gain promotions. Professors often submit proposals to obtain grants. Students are required to hand in a proposal to their professors in order to obtain permission to pursue research for their papers, theses, or dissertations. A thesis proposal is an outline of the proposed research work that is designed to answer the research question or test the hypothesis. It should define the goals and objectives that are to be fulfilled by the study proposed. It is important to make a note of the existing gaps in the field and how this study will fill the existing knowledge gaps and highlight the originality of the work being planned. Your proposal should identify your topic, make a literature review, identify the methods and the materials, draft the outline or structure of the research paper, discuss the anticipated results, as well as limitations and difficulties. Preliminary list of references. Objectives. Learn to plan a thesis proposal. Know the structure of your research paper's outline. Learn some opening statements. Learn to use critic expressions to indicate a gap in knowledge. Key points. Here is a key point. Learn how to outline your thesis or paper. Outlining your thesis or paper. Using an outline can help you organize your material and can also help you discover connections between pieces of information. A working outline might be only an informal list of topics and subtopics which you are thinking of covering in your paper. Sometimes, however, an advisor or instructor might require that a working outline be submitted at the beginning of your project. Then, your instructor might suggest ways in which the work needs to be further developed or limited. The working outline can be revised as you discover new material and get new ideas that ought to go into your paper. A final outline enhances the organization and coherence of your research paper. The outline organization should be well suited to your purposes. Are you attempting to show the time order of some historical development, cause and effect relationship, the effectiveness of type of experiment, comparison and contrast between one phenomenon and another, the process by which something is accomplished, the logic of some position or crafting a proof for issue in mathematics? A final outline can be written as a topic outline, in which you use only short phrases to suggest ideas, or as a sentence outline, in which you use full sentences, even very brief paragraphs, to show the development of ideas more fully. The following is a template outline of research, which may not reflect all of the research you will be including in your final paper. But it should show that you have done enough research that you know the main topics and subtopics that you will be using. Here is a template for working outlines. It includes title, thesis statement, introduction, methodology, analysis and discussion, and conclusion. For more information, read each of the component parts next carefully. A skeletal sample of a working outline. Title: Thesis Statement. Introduction. Describe the problem, importance of the problem, the scope of the review, gaps in previous studies, how the results of the review will be applied. Identify the research questions you hope to answer. Methodology. Identify the method used. Explain the rationale. Explain the procedures. Put in discussion of the experimental, mathematical methods, models used, and what materials are being studied if the paper is in a scientific or technical field. Identify the criteria for evaluating the information found. Analysis and discussion. General points to consider. Evidence and ideas are presented from sources. Concepts are organized by subtopics. Sources are grouped by concepts instead of individual entities. Grouping may be related to research questions. Validity of sources is stated to support your ultimate answers to your questions. Each of your statements is cited by placing the numbers and identifying the references which support your statement. Conclusions and recommendations. Identify and synthesize findings. Systematically answer your research questions. Provide recommendations for future research, classroom applications, business applications, social, legal, and political applications. For example, if the thesis is in international relations or economics. Applications in engineering or in other projects in the physical sciences. Educational policies and procedures. Program revisions or other applicable situations. Tasks. Task 1 is the beginning paragraph of a proposal. Read the following text and mark the opening statement. Answer. The opening statements are the increasing interest in, has heightened the need for, of particular interest and capacity. The second sentence uses the emphatic inversion. Language focus. The first language focus is on how to make opening statement. Making opening statement. It is possible to start immediately with a topic or thesis statement. The purpose of this paper is to. This paper describes and analyzes. In this paper, we report on. However, this kind of opening is rare and unusual. In fact, statements like those above typically come at or near the end of an research paper introduction. Here are some alternatives as opening statements of a proposal. Notice some of them use the present perfect. Recently, there has been growing interest in. Many investigators have recently turned to. The relationship between has been investigated by many researchers. Many recent studies have focused on. The has been extensively studied in recent years. The second language focus is on critic expressions, which are often used to indicate a research gap. They include quasi-negative, subjects, and alternative expressions. Probably the most common way to indicate a gap is to use a quasi-negative subject. By indicating a gap, the writer shows that the research conducted so far is not yet complete or sufficient. For example, however little information, however few studies, none of these studies, etc. To show your thesis advisor that you have done the proper background work, it might be a good idea to be more specific about exact what the research and whose research has been lacking. 2. Critic expressions. Using a quasi-negative subject to indicate a gap, that is, something is missing. However, little information, attention, work, data, research. However, few studies, investigations, researchers, attempts. None of the studies, findings, calculations have. The alternative expressions include contrastive statements such as, the studies have emphasized, as opposed to, raising questions such as, however, it remains unclear whether. Continuing a line of research such as, the literature shows that A is a useful technique for. This paper uses A too. Using alternatives, you may prefer to avoid negative or quasi-negative comment altogether. Here are some alternatives. A contrastive statement. A useful alternative is to use a contrastive statement. For example, the studies have emphasized, as opposed to. B. Raising a question. Something is unclear. A hypothesis or a need. For example, however, it remains unclear whether. C. Continuing a line of research, largely restricted to research papers written by same or similar research groups. The literature shows that rash analysis is a useful technique for validating multiple choice tests. This paper uses rash analysis too. In this example, the literature both admits and highlights the validity of rash analysis. The paper continues with this method so as to consolidate it rather than indicate a drawback in it. The paper's author is probably one of the members in the same or similar research group. Summary. A proposal helps you to organize ideas that can guide the research process. Proposals allow you to start the thought process needed to focus your ideas. A good research proposal will identify the topic, present working thesis, and offer a plan to prove it. Think of your proposal as an outline for how you will pursue your research and structure your paper. The thesis proposal is to be orally presented within a given period of time. Your advisor or review committee will ask you questions or discuss with you problems and offer their advice and suggestions before finally giving their approval of your research plan.